Hi, everybody. Welcome along to episode 150 of Percussion Discussion Podcast. 150, quite a milestone. And I'm glad we made it. And I'm also thrilled to let you know that the wonderful people at Protection Racket have sponsored this episode. So let me tell you a little bit about Protection Racket. These are British-made cases down in Cornwall. Absolutely rock solid things. I've had some for at least 25 years and they are still going strong. They have unbreakable zips, cool silicone badges, luggage tags, and waterproof backings. Comfortable handles, all designed, I should say, to make your life on the road that much easier. The company mission is a simple one: to provide the musicians of the world with musical instrument cases of the highest quality that combine effortless transportation and functionality with maximum protection, whatever the gig. They started off with just a 20-piece range back in 1993, and the current range extends to over 400 products. And that's not just drums and percussion, but that's guitars, PA, and touring luggage too. So they're actually celebrating their 30th anniversary this year. And I know that they want to thank, on behalf of themselves, all of their artists and all of their customers and all of their distributors and dealers for all of their sterling work over the last 30 years. So well done, everybody, and happy birthday, Protection Racket. If you'd like some more information about Protection Racket cases, then please check out their website. You will find that on www.protectionracket.com. So check out some of the wonderful products that they have available. If you are interested in sponsoring an episode, or two, who knows, then please get in touch. It costs probably far less money than you think. So please drop me a message and we can sort that out. On to today's guest. One of the biggest legends in the drumming world. There's not many drummers who have a groove named after them, but this guy does. He's literally one of the most recorded drummers in history. He's played on over 4,000 albums. And before I introduce him, I have to thank Anne McCoy and the wonderful, wonderful guys at Drum.Dog for putting me in touch and sorting all the arrangements out. So thank you to you all. It gives me huge, huge pleasure to welcome the legendary Mr. Bernard Pretty Purdie. Bernard, thank you so much for doing this. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure for me, too.
Oh, well, that's very kind. And before we start, I have to thank the fine gentlemen at Drum.Dog for, obviously, they've brought you over. You know, they've gone to a lot of trouble. And, of course, Anne McCoy as well. So thank you to you all for making this happen and obviously giving me the opportunity to speak to this living legend who I have sat in front of me. So, Bernard, first of all, I have to say a huge congratulations for the award you got at the UK Drum Show. Very
Woo.
deserved.
I listen. I very, very seldom ever get speechless, and I was very, very speechless. It was an honor for me to receive it, but I was dumbfounded. I loved it.
Yeah.
Listening to the things that were being said and not knowing, because I didn't know anything, that this was happening.
Sure.
And everybody can't keep secrets. My wife is very good at it.
Well, I was lucky enough to have a front row spot, and I witnessed it up close and personal. And you had a tear in your eye, and you weren't the only one. I tell you that. It was an emotional 10 minutes. That wasn't it?
Yes, it was. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But I felt so good, and I just wanted to thank everybody for what was being done and how it was being done.
Mm.
Um, I was like, yes, dumbfounded, shook up, scared, wonderful, happy as a Lord, thankful, and thankful to receive something like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just don't. It just doesn't happen. too often. We always seem to give accolades to folks that are gone.
Yeah, that's very true.
Can't appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah. So I well,
And
hopefully that'll take pride of place on somewhere in your home, and it's something to look back on and remember, isn't it? And remind you of the UK drum show. So
it's going to be right in the middle.
fantastic.
I don't know what part of the middle, but I'm going to be able to look at it a lot.
Oh, do you
My
know?
wife said, "All right, we'll let you see it every once in a while." And I said, "What? What? Oh, relax, relax. It's in the house. It's in the house." Uh, but I'm going to be very, very happy showing that off.
no, it's amazing.
And I am super happy that you guys have given me, wow, another surge in life to make me want to stay out here even longer. And I'm really, really thankful.
Yeah.
And you hit the spot. You hit the right spot.
Well, it was so nice to see. And do you know what was also nice to see? That you're quite happy to wander around the UK drum show, meeting, fans, young and old. That nothing was too much trouble, photos. Do you enjoy something like that, Bernard?
I enjoy that more than anything.
Yeah.
The reason why I enjoyed it is that I was told by my teacher by the time I was 10 years old that I was going to be a teacher. I told him I'll never, ever be a teacher because you say the same thing day after day, week after week, month after month, and year after year. And they're not learning anything. They're not learning. Well, I was wrong. 100% wrong. He knew something that I didn't even know myself. I live to give the right kind of information. It works for me. It has worked for me for 70 plus years. Longer, actually longer, but just the idea of what goes into making things happen.
Mm.
I've been making things happen for almost 80 years, and it's scary. It's scary. But at the same time, all of these things that happened to me, Mr. Hayward said it was going to. I didn't believe him because I did not want to be a teacher at all. But I've had a big mouth for a long, long time. And it's hard not to say what I need to say when I hear things from different people and they're 100% wrong. It's a problem for me. I've gotten myself into more trouble than it's worth.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I couldn't help myself. I can't stand when folks give the misinformation.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I just don't like it. So I've learned, but I had to learn the hard way. And my wife has been on my case. Last 13 years has been a whole nother ball game. But I'm so pleased that I never gave up. I just never gave up on trying to keep people focused on the music. And it's always been about the music.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Always.
And do you know, I was lucky enough to be the one of the ones who caught you. Obviously, there's 15 minutes of the first hour in the drum show, which is just a racket. Everyone's trying drums, and I just saw you sat down at a drum kit, just playing, and it was like whoa. And in it, once they go around with the air horn to let everybody know to stop the noise, it was like it was just like a little star shining through the racket, and you were quietly playing, and everyone descended to see what you were doing. And it was one of the nicest things I've ever witnessed, just you. And I'm fortunately, I was there. I've never seen you play live before. And the dynamics that you showed absolutely blew my mind, I have to say, especially the quiet dynamics. And to me, dynamics is everything, uh, with drums and music. So, yeah, incredible.
Well, I've had wonderful, wonderful teachers.
Mm,
I've had great teachers, and every one of them have all said the same thing to me, that you believe in what you're saying and what you're doing. And that's all my teachers, every teacher that I ever had, all said the same thing, which is why I get along with all teachers all over the world. I
mm,
don't have a problem. I don't have a problem telling a teacher, can you try it a different way? Or something that might just get in the way, and say something, live for what you want other folks to listen to listen to.
mm.
That's been my whole life. That is the one thing that no one can take from me, because that's how I was brought up. That's embedded in me, because I started between and almost 4 years old. I knew what I was going to do before I was 4 years old. I knew I was going to be playing drums all my life. No, everyone that was teaching, all the different teachers that I had, that I spoke to around the world, they all said the same thing. You are natural. I said, a natural of what? What are you talking about, a natural? You love what you do. I said, well, yeah, that don't make me a natural. I don't know what that means. I was trying to be belligerent and didn't even know what the devil I was talking about. I said, listen, I listen to everyone. Everybody has a voice. And when you touch the inner side of me, you've done something, and you've done something well. I have a young man that's sitting over here that he didn't realize what he did for me this afternoon. The benefit of every student, and that's what it's going to be, student and a teacher. The benefit that they're going to get is twice as much as normal, because he did what I do when I set myself up. I need to know what you're looking for,
Mm.
what you want, how you want it, whatever. I've been doing this for so many years that it's just natural. It's just not, that's where I start. But he did what I did not expect. He did 30% of my work by getting information from the students. And they're all students when they come in to see me.
Yes.
And nobody better than anyone else. They're all students. And when we leave each other, we're right back to where we started from. Love, life, and charity, and being able to talk to one another and accomplishing everything that you want to set out to do. That's my job. That is my job. And he took so much of the pain away of me thinking and having to write so and so down. And so, yeah, he stepped up to the plate. And I appreciate that.
Mhm.
But it gives them, because when they come in, they're going to be all going to be students.
Yeah.
But they get the benefit of the doubt of getting a lot more than what normally happens. And when you're giving a lecture or seminar to anybody, whether it's a class, whether it's one person, it doesn't matter. I don't care how many people you have, 1 or 100 or 1 and 1,000, doesn't matter. I start off certain things to get and find out what they're looking for. He took that away, and it's going to give them a lot more room to work themselves into what they need.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's going to be a major help to them. They're going to get twice as much than it would be normal, because I still have to find out what they want. It's there written down already.
Yeah. Absolutely.
They just took all of the other stuff out of it, and it just gives them more times and more direct things to do.
Yeah.
So it's going to make my job so much easier, and I'll be smiling all the way through it. I'm going to have a ball.
I bet you can't wait.
I'm going to have a good time, because I'll get things out of them that they don't even realize.
Yeah.
Because that's how I get the stuff done. That's how I get the work done.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what everybody wants. Now I do. I got somewhere to start. Every student that's going to come through there is going to be gotten down to the sea in no time, and right into what needs to be done and how much they can accomplish.
I'm quite envious. I wish I was doing it myself.
It's okay. It's okay. You're getting a lot that they don't, because it's not their field.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just happened to be what people talk about, what people do. When you in that position,
Yeah.
and you got to play, don't ever be scared. Don't ever be scared of whoever is playing for you, because you can learn from everybody.
Yeah.
But the learning process, the best learning process, is conversation.
Yeah. I'm with you.
And
Well,
that's been broken down for me.
yeah.
So they're going to get a lot more. And hopefully they all will be happy.
I'm in no doubt of that whatsoever, Bernard. No doubt has even crossed my mind that they're going to come out of there smiling and. But obviously the reason they're coming to you is because you're a legend. There's no doubt in that. And the incredible artists you've played for. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. We'd be here for about 4 weeks if we had to discuss it all. We haven't got that long. But there's a few things, a few artists I'd like to ask about, and a lady who you've had so much to do with over the years, of course, is Aretha Franklin. And I would love to ask about Rocksteady, because that to me is just perfect. Can you tell us about that recording, Bernard?
Rocksteady, in one sense, was an accident. Believe it or not, it was an accident. The music was written out, and the band, the rhythm section that we had, it was just, it's marvelous, because it was my band.
Mm-hmm.
I was having a ball. We were making records. We were doing everything that needed to be done. And what happened? The music fell off the piano, fell off the piano. And Aretha started looking around for help while we were into the rhythm and we were into just talking about blah. Same thing we were doing, rock steady, rock steady. I saw her hand go like this, rock. She come back and smile, steady. Then she's going hand over this way and asking somebody to come. She's still doing rock and steady. It took about a good 8 to 10 minutes. Rock and steady. Before Martin, the arranger and the writer and the producer, saw what was happening, came inside, picked up the music, put the music back on the piano. Well, we had never stopped. We were just in this thing. We were in the pocket. And she thanked him. He went back inside. And then kept on going. And then all of a sudden, she did this and put her hand up and pointed to me. Solo. I just looked, solo? Well, basically all I was doing was keeping time at, I would say, 60% of it.
Mm-hmm.
I was just keeping time. And lo and behold, because of everything that's happening right then and there, I went into a real solo. Now, we had done this in a good 8 to 10 minutes. And we went on and finished playing and singing the song. We didn't know what happened. We actually didn't know. We saw the paper on the floor. So Martin, he came out. What happened? What happened? What? Yeah, I came out and got the music. He says, "But my God, you guys never stopped." No, we didn't, because she kept us going. She kept us going, and at the same time trying to get them to bring the music in. She didn't know the music. We were in this, and this thing was so tight, it knocked out everybody in the studio. And that 10 or 15 minutes of playing, that we continued with just the rock and the steady, the rock and the steady, we just never stopped. Not only did we not stop, but breakdown. He edited. He edited down to 4 bars. No, but he said no, it was 8 bars by this time, because the time signature was in straight 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not 1, 2, 3, 4. He said it was magic. He comes out sang. It was total magic. And I said, well, okay, but can we hear? Oh, yes, of course, of course. So Rita, at one point, she was just sitting at the piano, and the playback went, playback went, the playback went, the playback went. This is like, it was almost like the session was over. The playback they kept going back and playing back, even playing back the edit. He edited right then and there. So we're all standing around and looking and listening. We didn't do anything for the next half hour, 40 minutes, at least next half hour to 40 minutes. The whole song, the background singers, everything. The background singers end up putting their parts on because they weren't on either. So it just kept going back, and they listened and they listened and they listened. And Aretha Martin says, Aretha, this is not going to get any better. He said, don't worry. I got my razor blade. I'll edit. We'll put the solo in to whatever many bars you want. But we have it where we can keep it down and then make longer fade. And that's what happened. Because right after that, it was all history. The song got played over and over and over by the DJs. It was like no tomorrow. It was wonderful. It was for me, it was a lifetime dream. I'm doing a solo. And it got edited down to the 8 bars. But the 8 bars in reality was 4 bars.
Yeah.
But the real part of it, the whole song was wonderful. I've never seen anybody work like this man. He edited in front of us, did it, and brought it down to what was considered a 4-bar phrase.
So was that very unusual, Bernard, for that to happen?
Unusual? It had never happened.
Really?
It never happened to any one of us that I've been overdubbing for a long time. I never had that. So we didn't even make another take. It wasn't even another take to be done. She ended up playing the song over and over. We took a break. The break was anywhere from 35, 40 minutes to an hour before we actually got back into doing another song. Because she was so happy. We were all happy, but she was even more happy than us. And Arif, he was like, throwing kisses at all of us.
He knew.
So we knew he had a hit record. It was a hit record, no matter what was going to happen. It was a hit record. She sang like there was no tomorrow. But that's the way Aretha did. When we did something live, she did very, very seldom ever go back in the studio and redo it, unless she just wasn't happy. And she'd go back at any time, putting another voice on or doing another. Half the time we were never around when that kind of stuff happened. But Rocksteady put Bernard Pretty on the map worldwide. My drum solo, my little drum solo. Yes. And I was like, oh, yes. I was honored. I was so honored, but it was beautiful. Like I said, we didn't do any work for almost 40 minutes to an hour afterwards. And then we came back and then we resumed the next song.
Amazing.
I don't even know what the next song was because whatever it was just in normal release stuff. They can fix anything they want. But this man, the razor blade, he edited my solo down to the 4 bars. Well, basically to us, it was 8 bars.
Yeah.
But I couldn't ask for anything anymore. I mean, I have a solo on Aretha Franklin's song.
That's
Not the saxophone, not the guitar, not this one. Me, drum, drum solo.
beautiful. Do you know,
And it was.
let's talk about the quality in that band because Cornell Dupree, Richard T, Chuck Rainey. I mean, does it get any better than that? Was there ever a better band than that? It's different these days. It can't. It's not the same, is it?
I agree. I'm with you 1,000%
Yeah.
because that is the kind of thing that happened. Now, Les Paul, folks didn't know that Les Paul was another one who was called the Fixer.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Practically every song that Les Paul made, every record that Les Paul made, he did all of the guitars. But what he did for me is he taught me how to make and to fix records. He told me, and I've quoted him so often, that Purdie, eventually you're going to make a mistake. And I told him, I'll never make a mistake. I'll never make a mistake because you're so good at what you've done and such and such. I made a mistake. Took me about 2 years, but I made a mistake. And I didn't know what he was trying to tell me because when you make a mistake, you got to go all the way back to the beginning. 2-track. So you got to go with 2 tracks. You're going with a 2-track machine, 2-track to 2-track. But only 1 track is being used every time.
Sure.
2 into 1. Go back this way. 2 into 1. Back this way. 2 into 1 until you got what you wanted, what he got, what he wanted. And he did all those guitar parts himself. He didn't ask anybody else. He was the creator of mastering and mixing and overdubbing.
Mm.
All of those licks he did. All those guitar things that you heard, he did. He did them.
Wow.
But he did them with a lot of help from other folks. Not so much guitar players, but he used the piano players. He used the bass players from some background singers, all of that. I learned how to fix records from 1962 to 1964, 65. I was fixing records for Les Paul.
Wow.
And I just want you to know that I won't go into another phase of that because I had my life threatened too much. And my life was threatened because of the Beatles.
Yeah.
So we'll let that go. And you can think for yourself.
Yeah.
I fixed. I did my fixing. 21 tracks. So, bam.
And that's
It's
that.
over and it's behind me.
I think there's very good drummers around these days. That's not in doubt. But in your time of the insane amount of studio work you've done, you had to be the real deal. Then there's no Pro Tools. Time was money, and you had to be able to deliver. It must be so much easier these days with Pro Tools. Oh, we'll just do that bar. We'll just put that fill in. It's a different thing altogether, isn't it?
Yes. Yes. And that's how so many records became masters. Because in the first 5 to 6 years, practically everything that I was doing was demos.
Mm.
High heel sneakers. It didn't matter. the songs that I made, all of these songs, Just One Look, Dosh Troy,
Mm.
they were all demos. They were all demos. I had hundreds of songs that were demos that became masters.
Mm.
So I had to stop saying things because my life was threatened too much. My life was threatened all the time. And it took me 20 years to say, okay, I'm finished. Bam, no more. No more Beatle business. You don't have to worry about me talking about it again in life. And I didn't.
Mm.
But they talked about it. And a lot of people found out it was all true. But I'm happy to know and to be thankful that I don't worry about my life being threatened anymore because it was threatened for 20 years straight
That's not fun.
by the public,
Do
the
you know?
people who in love with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
I would like to ask about Pieces of a Man. You know, the Gil Scott Heron debut back in 71, which is a wonderful, wonderful album. Um,
Mm.
any memories of that, Bernard? Because that's such a funky piece of work, that.
Well, here's another good example of an artist who came into the studio, but came into the company, the person that I was working for. And we made the number one album in the studio with all the stuff, with all the trimmings, with everything. You name it, we did it. And I did whatever fixing and doing and changing around. That's what I was doing.
Mm.
Those were all hit records, because every one of the songs became a hit record in itself. But that's how so much worked for me for so long, and how I used to speak about something I was doing. Yes, I had my life threatened for over 20 years by the public. And these were folks who wrote in. And yes, they promised to kill me. You name it. If I'd have went any place or start traveling and doing those kind of things, I didn't even start traveling for 15 to 20 years because I stayed in the studio. I was in New York. From New York, California, Motown, Chicago. I was hitting all the places that the hit records were being made out of. And it was my job. And I got paid good money to do it.
Mm. Tell me, were you doing much live stuff at all at this point, Bernard, or were you kind of living in a dark studio for most of the time?
Well, as you say, yes, the dark studio, it never stopped.
Mm.
I was one of the fortunate ones who could do the studio work, the live work, the fixing work, shows. The one name I'm going to give you is Golf McDermott. Well, Golf McDermott had 16 different Broadway show hits, and I did them all, every one of them. Just that's the kind of things that I was doing. I was in Broadway, on Broadway. I had 16 different shows that Galt McDermott wrote. I was also the band leader in his band. I was also the conductor in his band, as I was Aretha Franklin and so many other different artists. Conductor, I did it all. I played every genre of music all my life. Never stopped, and I didn't ask anybody to stop me. Just whatever you want, whatever you wanted, I could do it. And then people found out that you like country? Yes. Floyd Kramer was my biggest influence for country music. Floyd Kramer, the number one piano player for 50 years. I loved what he did, and he was always right. But I got all of these different people because I worked for so many major companies. Columbia Records, Atlantic Records, you name it, record labels, all of them. There's so many of them around. Steely Dan.
Right.
I had well, I had a wonderful time playing with so many different records company people and groups. I worked as much as 12 to 15 different recordings a week. And then I go out on the road. One of the people that I went out on the road with, Dizzy Gillespie.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
2 years with Dizzy Gillespie out on the road. Rock and roll. Uh, let's see. Let me think. Let me just think. The group was a kind of a unknown name group from England.
Oh.
Hmm. Now, what is the biggest act that you know from England?
What of going back a little while?
Yeah, just go. You can go back as far as you want to go.
It's good. Wow. Well, probably the Beatles, Stones, maybe. I don't know. One of those, perhaps. I don't know. Is it one of those? I don't know.
Yes, it's one of those two. But I went on the road for 2 years with Jeff Beck.
Ah, right, 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 right.
2 years with Jeff Beck.
Amazing.
It was amazing, even for me, because when they asked me to come out on the road, they asked me who I wanted to play with, what bass player. And I said, Wilbur Bascom. Wilbur Bascom, we don't know him. I said, no, you probably don't, but he's only the baddest bass player in the world. Besides Chuck Rainey, I was just doing all the recordings. Also with King Curtis, live. But all of these people were icons. I was the band leader, conductor, contractor with all of these different people. I had a ball. It didn't matter what, who, when, or where. It was my job. I learned how to play every genre of music. Every genre of music. It didn't matter. 2,500 different hit record people and over 4,000 albums.
That's hard to. It's just hard to fathom.
I know.
You know.
I know. I know. But it's not something that you brag about. It's not even about that. I just like what I was doing because I was being taught by everybody. Everybody that you could think of asked me to play on their album. They also asked me if I had anything that I would like to say about it. Every artist. And the beauty for me, I had 25 years of artists that was in my diary before I got flooded out. Yep, I got flooded out in my basement.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I had to go back and I went. I mean, I had everything, but I had written a book. So I didn't lose it all.
Oh, right.
So, yeah, there was so much that I had and didn't know what I had. I had no idea of how many people I had worked for.
It's astounding, Bernard.
Thousand.
Yeah.
But everybody said, how do you fathom that? I said, well, it was just something that I did. That's all. Well, how did you know? I said, everybody asked me the same question. Yeah, I knew because I had a diary. For people who didn't pay or whatever the circumstances was, I knew who everybody was. So I didn't worry and I didn't go through the changes. So my book was written before I got flooded out.
Oh, okay.
So in the book, I didn't put everybody's name. I didn't put 2,500 different artists. I didn't put 4,000 albums that I worked on, but I put enough to where people had to scratch their head. Oh, yes. On all these different people, every genre of every kind of music there is, I played with them.
Ah. Bernard, this is going to be a difficult one for you to answer. But if you had to choose one album that defined your playing, your thing, could you choose one? Is that even think something you could pick out of thin air? It's a horrible question to ask.
I agree 1,000%. But you know what I had to do? Because I was asked by so many people in the world who was my favorite.
Mm.
And I had to think about it. And I thought about it very, very hard. Really, in reality, it was very easy for me to think, well, let me say, yeah. To play safe, I'm going to give you the one person that everybody knew that I played with this artist. Everybody knew I made hit records with this artist. Everybody loves this artist. And everybody says, man, that was smart of you to do that. Aretha Franklin.
Yeah.
Play safe. Play safe. I was the happiest person in the world because I had to think about it because I had 2,500 different artists and I had over 4,000 albums of different artists. You name them, I did it.
Mm.
That was my job. That was my job. And I loved every minute of it.
Yeah.
But to play safe, everybody loved Aretha.
Yeah.
So I was, yeah, that's how I can do because everyone was asking me the same question. In the beginning, I didn't want to answer because I was scared to death because I played with so many different artists and I got so many hit records going. How do you don't.
No.
You don't. But the one thing that I could do and everybody would be happy about was Aretha Franklin. Then I can go down the line down and okay, who are these other guys? No, all the notes. Who's this? That? That's Steely Dan. Oh, oh. Now everybody says. Now it makes sense.
Mm.
You made sense when you said Aretha Franklin because no one can defy that she was the baddest singer out there all over the world and loved by everyone. So I said, that one of the things that got to me. How do I play safe when I made so many hit records with so many people without naming all of them?
Yeah.
Because you're going to forget names. You're going to forget hundreds and thousands of albums.
Yeah.
So I played it safe, and I was like, wow, I did something right. I did something right. That's all I can think about. So I don't have to worry and go through the changes of trying to name 2,500 different artists. I put in my book. What do you have? You got a couple of hundred. You put in
Yeah, it's
a
enough.
couple of thousand. So yes,
There we
and I had
go.
a lot of good years with her.
You've answered my question perfectly. Now, you've mentioned Steely Dan, and Steely Dan are possibly one of my favorite bands of all time. And you've done a lot with them. How was the experience of working, with Walter Beck and Donald Fagen, known to be hard taskmasters? How tell us a little bit about the I don't mind the song because you've played on enough of them. So, you tell me.
The thing is, for me, every time I played with them, there was always something that they wanted.
Mhm.
Now, there are probably, just to give you a good example, there's probably 21 to 30 songs that different drummers in the world played on some of these records. We all played on the songs that they kept, they kept, they kept, they kept. I even have songs where two or three of us were on the same song, editing
Yeah.
that they edited. I know that. They told me themselves. I said, I know that because I know my playing. I know what I did,
Of course.
and I know how I fixed up so many records. And I had a run in with maybe three drummers. They turned out to be good friends afterwards. And one of them called me, "Bernard, I played on this record. That's me on such and such and such and such and this and that and the other." And I said, "Hey, how you doing? Oh, you all right? Everything good?" Yeah. He said, "What? Yeah, yeah." I said, "Good. I know that you played on the record. I know that you played on two or three of them. There's probably four or five of them. We're all on there together. Now, stop being a baby. Stop worrying yourself about it. You made plenty of money with them. You get plenty of money with them, and such and such and such." And he, wow, Purdy, I never thought about it that way. I said, I know that. You've been telling people such and such is the case. I know that you played on. They edit. These people would edit something in a minute. They took all the time that they needed because they didn't have to pay for the records from the record companies. Nothing. They could take as long as they wanted because the record labels made billions of dollars with them.
Hmm.
That's they're happy. The record label says, we're happy too. But those are the kind of things that happen. Yeah, I get along with everybody because I'm not looking to hurt anybody. I don't need to. I'm not looking to bother anybody. If somebody don't want to speak to me, that's okay. It's not a problem. But if we're going to be working on the same thing, and you're not going to speak to me when we're in the studio, then I will embarrass you.
Hmm.
I will embarrass you in a minute. Then you have a reason for not speaking to me anymore. They all stopped. They all stop. I don't go out here to hurt anybody. I don't go out here to tell people, no, he's not on this and he's not on this and he's not. This is bull. Because I know when they take something from a different record that's happening, it's their business. They make things happen for them for that reason. And if they don't want to talk about it, they don't talk about it. So why should we be on each other's case?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Wipe all that stuff out. And how you doing now? Everything's good? You fine? Exactly.
You're like the voice of reason, Bernard.
I had to be. I had to be. Simply because I wanted to do what I was doing. I never wanted to stop playing. My ego was in my playing. I don't tell people, well, I'm the baddest so-and-so out there. Bull. There's always somebody better because I teach them. When my teacher told me I was going to be a teacher, yes, I hated my teacher because I didn't want to have that because I saw so many people falling by the wayside. But I learned what my teacher was trying to say to me. He knew I had something that I could do at any time, any place, anywhere in the world. It was all about reading, writing, and arithmetic. I had the knowledge. I was fortunate that the man upstairs gave me that little extra thing of feel, personal, attitude. I am a bad motorcycle when it comes down to I love what I do. And I'm here to represent what I do. I do not get into trouble with other people. We have 2 or 3 drummers in the place. I'm be the first one to go and over start talking. Yes, that's me. I don't have to steal anything from anybody. And I don't worry about somebody stealing from me. Oh man, it's a job. We have fun. But I am now happy somebody that I'm getting accolades because I'm still alive to be able to accept them. This is heaven for me. This is heaven for me. No ifs, ands, or buts. I love it. I love it. And I'm fortunate to be able to say I'm still around doing what I love the most. And every drummer out there, when they ask me one question, I said, make sure that you smile when you're doing your job. You do your job, you smile, they're going to call you back. Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Do you know, I don't think we could find a better place to wrap up an interview than there. I mean, that, your joy for this instrument and for music shines through still. You've lost none of the passion for it. And what can I say? What can I say? Bernard, thank you so much for finding the time to do this. I'm sure you've got a million other things you'd rather be doing than talking to me. So I appreciate it even more.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it even for me. Now, I'm thankful at this particular time that my wife was in the other room. I think she might have fell asleep because otherwise she would have been inside and done this. Okay, let's go. Cut me off. I love it. I love it. And I couldn't ask for anybody any better than her.
That's beautiful.
She has taken care of me, period. That's just how good things have been. And I have to stay on top of everything else because I know that in the long run, it comes down to the two of us. Another one of my songs.
Oh, Bernard,
Thank you.
thank you
Thank you very
so much. It's been an absolute privilege to speak to you, and I wish you all the very best. Enjoy the rest of your time over here in the UK, and I really, really hope we get to see you again over here soon. Who knows?
well. I'm going to be. Uh, we're in London. London on Monday. Yeah, we're in London doing. I have students.
Yeah,
Well, I call them students. You know, it's so much nicer to be able to say that
sure.
because I got a plaque. I got a plaque, and my biggest problem is yes, I got a big mouth. I talk all the time, but when I received this plaque, I couldn't say anything, and all I could do was cry because I was so happy to receive it. You know, it was wow. These are I call them my students. They're not just my no, they're friends. They have worked so hard to do things for me that I am super pleased to be able to still be able to travel,
Yeah,
to be able to do exactly what we are doing here tonight,
yeah.
talking about it. And and I thank you.
Well,
I thank you very much for wanting for this to happen. And it gives me a chance to be out there a little bit longer.
Bernard, thank you. Honestly, and thanks again to our friends from Drum.Dog. I know I can see he's still there. He's still there.
Yeah.
There we go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Honestly, I appreciate it. It's very rare. I usually have to go emailing and asking and begging to have interviews and to be offered somebody of your stature, Bernard, is like this. It's the dream. So there we go. Dreams do come true. You know.
Well, you just made me feel wonderful.
Ah,
Wonderful. I love it because if I'm able to give you what you needed, it helps me also. And I do love talking about it. Yeah, I got all kinds of stories. I got all kinds of everything. But the nitty gritty is that I'm a happy man to be alive, to be able to talk to you about it.
stay that way. Don't change. Bernard, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening and hopefully see you again soon.
You got it.